Hello everyone. In this video, I want to show you 14 useful VS Code extensions that I use on a daily basis, and they make my life much easier using VS Code. So the first one I want to start with is called bracket pair colorizer. So here it is. And I've already installed it. And what it does basically is that it gives your brackets different colors. So I want to show you an example of this. If, as you can see here, in the CSS of this section, you can see that that I gave, like, it gives this curly bracket a purple color, and it gives this one a blue color. So this makes it much easier for you if you want to know where things end. If you have many nested functions, for example, here you can see that this curly bracket has a different color, and everything here has a different color. So you know which one is a closing bracket and which one is the opening one for each of your lines, and that makes your life much easier. For example, here you have multiple brackets on a single line, and you can easily distinguish based on the color which one is the closing one for your opening bracket. And the second extension I want to talk about is called Color Picker. And this one is very useful for styling and CSS. So as you can see here, if you go to, sorry about the dogs that are barking in the street. As you can see here, this is a color, and if you hover over that color, it's gonna show you the color picker, and you can change that color to any bucket, to any color you like. So for example, I wanna make it purple, so you can pick this color, and it's gonna update it automatically for you. And that's extremely useful. So you can play around with colors and change them as you like, and you don't have to go back to Sketch or even a color palette app to do this. You can now do it in VS Code itself. And another extension that I want to talk about, the third one, is called DotENV. And this extension gives you it colors your .env file. So that's pretty cool. And when I first saw it, I felt like this is pretty cool because usually VS Code leaves your .env file plain. So this extension gives you the ability to see, to add colors to your .env file, so you can see the variables and everything clearly, and it highlights everything for you. So if you open the .env file here, you can see that everything has different color. If you have some variable here and you make it equal to a number, it's going to have a different colors than the strings above. So that's pretty useful. And the fourth extension I want to talk about is called Excel Viewer. So if you're someone who works with data and uses Excel a lot, and this extension gives you the ability to visualize Excel files inside VS Code without having to go back to Excel or Pages and view them there. So I want to see a CSV file. I have a CSV file here, and as you can see, this is the usual view that you get when you open a CSV file in VS Code. But if you want to visualize the elements and see the columns and everything, you can just click on the CSV viewer here, and it's gonna view the CSV file as if you're viewing it in Excel. But you can't edit things. You can only visualize things and sort them and do this sort of stuff. And that's what we usually want to know when we're working with CSV files in VS Code. And that eliminates the need to go back to Excel and view them individually there. And the fifth thing that I want to talk about is called GitLens. So what GitLens does is it's one of the most useful extensions that I have on the list, and it allows you to see the Git history of each file that you open, and it has so many cool features. So I want to show you how this looks. So for example, if I open this file here, you'll see that this file was changed 12 minutes ago, and it has two authors that are me and another person. And if you click on any individual line, it should show you who created that line. Oh my god. Yeah, sometimes VS Code does this. I'm gonna reload the page. Reload the window. So after it reloads, yeah, now you can see it working properly. So you can see that I wrote this line a year ago, and you can highlight it. Like when you hover over this, it shows you the commit message and everything. And if you click on that, it's going to show you the history of the file and all of the commits that were committed to the file and who committed them. So that's pretty cool, and it's very useful when you're working with a team on huge files. And another extension I want to talk about is called highlight tag matching. Sorry, highlight matching tag. Yeah. And this one gives your tags like a highlight when you're working with JSX or HTML. So if I go back to the nav file and click on that detector tag, you're gonna see that the closing bracket of this tag gets highlighted. And if you're working with something like a React component, you can see that when I clicked on the app bar, it highlights the closing one. But this is very useful when you're working with divs and things like that, because like divs, you could have many nested divs and many nested text file, B tags or whatever, and you can know where things are. So if you click on anything, you know where it ends, and that's pretty useful. And the seventh extension I want to talk about is called image preview. Image preview shows you a small preview of your image on the left. So if we go back to this nav, and it works with all of the image extensions, even SVGs. So here we have an SVG for a logo, and you can see here that logo being shown on the left. And if you hover over it, it's going to show you a larger version of that logo. And that's pretty useful when you're working with many images and you want to take a look at them. And it even works with remote images. So if you have an image uploaded to S3 or something, you can, and you have a link for that image in the file, you can just see the preview of that image on the left. And I find this very useful when you're working with many images. And the eighth extension is called SVG Preview. It is this extension, and it allows you to preview your SVG files. So let's look at this logo file here. This is the normal view that you see usually on the left, and the one here on the right that opened automatically is SVG Preview, and it gives you a preview of your SVG image, and you can see the image and rotate and move it around and everything. So that's very useful for viewing SVG files if you don't want to go back, like if you don't want to open them in Finder or something like that. And the ninth extension I want to talk about is called indent-rainbow. And this extension gives you the ability to have like a rainbow color effect on your lines, so that you would know where things are located on each line. So let's take a look at this here. As you can see here, we have nested React components, and each line has a different, like each level of lines have a different rainbow color. So this one is a bit purplish, and sorry, I mean like reddish, and this one is a bit blue, and this one is purplish, and like this, so that you would be able to align your elements. If you don't have ESLint installed, you can, or Prettier installed, you can just like see this color rainbow and be able to align your elements properly without the need to automatically align them after saving the file. And the other extension I want to talk about is called Markdown Preview Enhanced. So this one allows you to have a quick preview of your Markdown files. So for example, if you have a README file like this one, and this is the format you use to write the Markdown file. And if you want to view it, you can just click on preview the Markdown file and see a quick preview of this file and how it's going to look on GitHub or any other Markdown engines that you're going to use to view your file. And the 11th one I want to talk about is called spell right. So this is a very good extension if you're not a native English speaker. So it allows you to like automatically detect when you write a typo. And even if you're a native speaker, sometimes you just write typos. So and it works. The good thing is that it works with strings, it works with variable names, and it works with everything. So for example, let's create a constant here and name it great, but I'm gonna add an extra T. And here we're gonna test if, for example, if you click on great, it's gonna tell you that this is not like it's an unknown word, and this is called CS spell, coming from the extensions that we installed. So if you remove the T here, it's gonna remove that line that was below it. And here as well, you can see that testf is an unknown word, so you can just correct that quickly. And that's pretty useful. It works with camel case and everything. So it's very nice if you're working, like if you want to make sure that you don't have typos in your code. And so the other extension I want to talk about is called trailing spaces. Sorry about my voice, I have a bit of cold. So this extension gives you a highlight of the trailing spaces in the trailing spaces in your code. So I'm one of these people who get annoyed by trailing spaces. So let's say that you declared this style here and you just left a space here. It's gonna highlight it in red and lets you know that you gotta remove this because it's a trailing space and there is no need to have trailing spaces here. So that's pretty cool. And you have something called version lens. Cool. Yeah, this one is nice. Like, I don't usually use it to update my versions, but I just use it to visualize my versions and if I need to update them or something. So I'm gonna open package.json file. And it takes a bit of time to load because I guess it does some network requests to get the latest versions. As you can see here, this is the app and it's analyzing the dependencies now. Okay, it's done. So it shows you like the versions that you have and the latest versions that you have. And if you don't have, like, if you don't fix the version, it tells you the available versions and what your version satisfies and things like that. So it's very useful if you want to know how behind your version is, and if you want to update it, you can just click on latest here and it's going to update it automatically, but I don't want to do that. So it's nice, but I don't use it to update my versions because sometimes you have multiple dependencies that depend on each other, so I don't want to break them, so I use other methods to update my versions. And the last extension and the 14th one that I want to talk about is for people who have Touch Bar MacBook Pro. It's called Touch Bar Display Commands. So this one is pretty awesome, and it's actually one of the useful bars that for having a touch bar. Like, I didn't find the touch bars that useful until I found this extension. And it gives you the ability to move some of the vscode elements into the touch bar. So as you can see here, I don't have this the sidebar that shows me the file, search, get, and vscode extensions. Instead, I have them on my touch bar. So if I want to open the files, I can just click on it and it will switch to files. And I can go back to extensions and I would see the extensions here. And that's very useful. And that's it. So these are the 14 extensions that I want to talk about. And if you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to ask me about anything or recommend videos for future videos, please leave a comment down below to create videos for these topics. And see you on the next video. Bye, everyone.